His name is synonymous with treason, cowardice, and ultimate betrayal. For over 2 centuries, history has remembered Benedict Arnold as America's undisputed Judas. But before he became the nation's most despised traitor, he was something entirely different. He was George Washington's most brilliant, fearless, and indispensable battlefield general. Without Benedict Arnold, the American Revolution might have been crushed before it ever truly began. In the early, desperate days of the Revolutionary War, Arnold was a force of nature. At the Battle of Saratoga in 1777, when American forces were faltering against a heavily fortified British army, Arnold charged into the thick of combat without orders. Leading a furious bayonet charge, he shattered the British lines, suffering a devastating gunshot wound to his leg that left him permanently crippled. Saratoga was the single most decisive victory of the war, convincing France to enter the conflict as America's vital ally. Historians agree, Benedict Arnold won the battle that saved the revolution. Yet, as he lay bleeding in a field hospital, the seeds of a dark, destructive bitterness were already taking root. While Arnold was recovering from his brutal injuries, less qualified, politically connected officers were taking full credit for his heroic victories. The Continental Congress repeatedly passed him over for promotions, favoring generals who had spent the war sitting behind desks rather than leading men into battle. To make matters worse, envious politicians launched smear campaigns against Arnold, accusing him of financial corruption and abusing his military authority. Deeply humiliated, heavily in debt from funding his own military regiments, and crippled for life, Arnold felt utterly abandoned by the country he had bled to defend. In 1778, Washington appointed a bitter Arnold as the military governor of Philadelphia. It was here, amidst political intrigue and high society galas, that Arnold met Peggy Shippen, a beautiful 19-year-old woman from a wealthy, pro-British loyalist family. Peggy was far more than a romantic interest. She was a master manipulator connected to the highest levels of British intelligence. She introduced her new husband to Major John Andre, the charismatic spy chief for the British Royal Army. As Arnold's resentment toward Congress boiled over, John Andre offered him a deal that would change history forever. Immense wealth, a high-ranking officer position in the British military, and eternal revenge against his ungrateful country. Using his close personal friendship with George Washington, Arnold requested command of West Point, a massive, heavily fortified citadel commanding the Hudson River. Washington, trusting his battle-tested general implicitly, granted him the position without hesitation. Washington viewed West Point as the primary strategic key to holding the American colonies together. If the British captured West Point, they would split the northern and southern colonies, effectively ending the war in a single afternoon. Once in command, Arnold systematically set out to sabotage the fortress. Under the pretense of routine maintenance, he weakened the fort's defenses, dispersed its armed garrisons, and depleted food and gunpowder supplies. In dark, secret correspondence written in invisible ink, Arnold offered to surrender West Point and its 3,000 defenders to the British Army in exchange for £20,000, a fortune worth millions today. For months, Arnold and Major John Andre exchanged coded letters detailing troop movements, defensive weaknesses, and tactical maps. In September 1780, the conspirators met in person in a dark, desolate woods along the Hudson River to finalize the execution of the plot. Arnold handed Andre handwritten blueprints and detailed defense layouts of West Point. The trap was set, and the fate of the nation hung by a thread. While riding back toward British lines in civilian clothing, Major John Andre was stopped on a dirt road near Tarrytown, New York, by 3 local Patriot militia officers. Suspicious of his nervous behavior, the men searched Andre from head to toe. When they pulled off his boots, they discovered the secret blueprints of West Point hidden beneath his socks, blueprints written in Benedict Arnold's unmistakable handwriting. Word of the capture rushed toward West Point. Arnold was sitting down for breakfast when a messenger handed him a letter informing him that a British officer carrying secret fort documents had been arrested. Realizing the game was over, Arnold sprinted from his home, abandoned his wife and newborn child, and boarded a British warship waiting in the river. Just hours later, George Washington arrived at West Point. When the horrific news was broken to him, the normally stoic, emotionless commander-in-chief broke down in tears, famously whispering to his aides, "Arnold has betrayed us. Whom can we trust now?" The plot was foiled with only hours to spare, saving the fort and the Continental Army from total destruction, though the psychological scar left on Washington and the young nation would never heal. Major John Andre was hanged as a spy, while Benedict Arnold escaped to lead British troops in devastating raids against his former comrades, burning American towns to the ground. But the British never truly respected or trusted him. They viewed him as a man who had sold out his own brothers in arms for gold. After the war, Arnold moved to London, where he spent his final years shunned by society, plagued by financial failure, and tortured by severe physical pain from his war wounds. He died in 1801, impoverished and universally despised on both sides of the Atlantic. According to legend, on his deathbed, Arnold asked to be buried in his old American uniform, whispering, "May God forgive me for ever putting on another." Benedict Arnold gained the fortune he sought, but he traded away his soul, his honor, and his place in history as a founding hero. True greatness is not measured by the applause you receive or the glory you are given. It is measured by the loyalty you keep when your character is tested in the dark. Thank you for watching House of Velorian. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more incredible, dark, and untold history stories.